As a veteran enjoying a peaceful day in the park, I never expected to be confronted by an entitled woman demanding that I give her my uniform. But that's exactly what happened. As tensions escalated and things got out of hand, I found myself in a terrifying situation. Here's how it all went down. I was sitting on a park bench, enjoying the warm sun on my face and the cool breeze blowing through the trees. It was a perfect day to relax and forget about the stress of work and life. As I sat there, watching people walk by and listening to the sounds of nature, my attention was drawn to a woman approaching me. She was in her mid-30s, with blonde hair and wearing sunglasses and flip-flops. At first, I didn't think anything of it, assuming she was just out for a walk like everyone else. But as she got closer, I could see that she was focused on me, and I began to feel uneasy. "Excuse me, sir," she said, coming to a stop in front of me. "I couldn't help but notice your uniform. It's so handsome on you." I looked down at my outfit, a simple uniform that I wore with pride. "Thank you," I said, not sure where this was going. "I was wondering if you would be willing to give it to me," she said, smiling sweetly. "It would look so much better on me, and I think I deserve it more than you do." I was taken aback by her request. Did she really think it was okay to ask a veteran to hand over his uniform? "I'm sorry," I said, trying to keep my voice calm, "but this uniform is not for sale or for anyone else to wear. It represents my service to this country, and I wear it with pride." The woman's smile faded, and her demeanor changed. "Well, I think it's only fair that I have it," she said, her voice growing louder. "After all, I'm a taxpayer, and that uniform belongs to me just as much as it belongs to you." The woman's comment was so ridiculous that I couldn't help but laugh, but my laughter only seemed to anger her more. She began shouting at me, telling me that I was being selfish and ungrateful. I tried to reason with her, explaining that my uniform was not something that could be given away or taken, but she wouldn't listen. She continued to yell at me, drawing the attention of other park-goers. "Ma'am, please calm down," I said, trying to defuse the situation. "This is not something that can be negotiated or bought. It represents my service to this country, and I wear it with pride." "Service to this country?" she scoffed. "What do you know about service? You're just a glorified janitor, cleaning up after real heroes." Her words stung, and I could feel my anger rising. I had served my country with honor and distinction, and I was not going to let this entitled woman belittle my sacrifice. "I think you need to leave," I said, standing up from the bench. "You're not welcome here." But the woman wasn't finished. She continued to berate me, spewing insults and accusations. I felt my temper starting to get the best of me, and I knew I needed to get away before things got out of hand. "I think it's time for you to go," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I'm not going to give you my uniform, and I'm not going to stand here and let you insult me." As I started to walk away, the woman grabbed my arm, pulling me back towards her. "You're not going anywhere," she said, her grip tightening. I could feel my heart racing as I struggled to break free from her grasp. I knew I needed to get help, but I didn't want to leave her alone with my uniform. "Let go of me," I said, my voice rising. "This is assault." But the woman wouldn't release me. She was determined to get what she wanted, no matter the cost. I could see the anger and entitlement in her eyes, and I knew I was in trouble. I could feel my anger boiling inside of me as the woman continued to hold onto my arm. "Let go of me," I said, trying to break free from her grasp. "You're not going to get my uniform, and you're not going to assault me." But the woman refused to listen. She tightened her grip on my arm, and I could feel the pain shooting up through my shoulder. "You're being selfish," she said, her voice rising. "You don't deserve that uniform. It belongs to me." I could feel my adrenaline pumping as I tried to break free from her grasp, but the woman was surprisingly strong, and I knew I needed to get help. "Let go of me," I said again, this time struggling harder to get away. Suddenly, I felt a hand on my shoulder, and I turned to see a police officer standing behind me. "Is there a problem here?" he asked, addressing the woman. The woman's eyes widened in surprise, and she quickly released her grip on my arm. No problem," she said, her voice trembling. "I was just leaving." But the officer wasn't satisfied. He turned to me and asked, "Sir, is everything okay?" I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself down. "No, everything is not okay," I said, my voice shaking with anger. "This woman tried to steal my uniform, and when I wouldn't give it to her, she assaulted me." The officer nodded, his expression turning serious. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to come with me," he said, addressing the woman. "We need to talk about what just happened here." The woman started to protest, but the officer cut her off. "You can either come with me now, or I can place you under arrest for assault and attempted theft. Which would you prefer?" The woman's face turned pale, and she quickly complied with the officer's instructions. As she was led away, I could hear her shouting and cursing, but I didn't care. I was just relieved that the situation was over. "Are you okay?" the officer asked me, his voice filled with concern. I nodded, still trying to catch my breath. Yeah, I'll be okay, I said, feeling a sense of relief wash over me. Thank you for coming when you did, the officer smiled, patting me on the back. No problem, he said. That's what we're here for. I took a deep breath and tried to calm myself down. I was relieved that the situation with Karen was over, but I was still shaken up from the whole ordeal. As I sat back down on the park bench, I could feel my heart rate slowly returning to normal. The police officer stayed with me for a few more minutes, making sure that I was okay and taking down my statement about what had happened. He was sympathetic and understanding, and I could tell that he had dealt with situations like this before. I was grateful for his presence and his help in diffusing the situation. As the officer walked away, I could see a few people approaching me. They were strangers, but they all had a look of concern on their faces. Are you okay? One of them asked, her voice filled with empathy. I nodded, feeling grateful for their kindness. Yeah, I'm okay, I said. It was just a little stressful there for a minute. The strangers introduced themselves and thanked me for my service. They offered words of support and encouragement, and I could feel my spirits lifting. It was nice to know that there were still people out there who cared about veterans and their sacrifices. As I sat there, surrounded by strangers who had become friends, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. The Karen incident was behind me, and I was ready to move on. I knew that there would be other challenges in my life, but I also knew that I was strong enough to face them head on. Wow, that was intense. Glad the veteran was able to stand up to Karen and get the help he needed. It's crazy to think that people like Karen actually exist in the world. There's so much drama. Babies bring out the worst in in-laws. I never thought my in-laws would bring so much drama into my life, especially now that I have a newborn son. It all started when my husband's grandmother, who has been showing signs of dementia, wanted to see our son. Despite our concerns, we agreed to let her visit with strict boundaries in place. But when my mother-in-law and sister-in-law showed up uninvited, things took a turn for the worse. Here's how it all went down. Hi, I've never had a story to share on here, but over the past few weeks I've dealt with so much drama from my in-laws that I decided it was time. Some backstory before I share the text messages that really make this great. PSA. This story is long because it contains messages, but the drama is worth it. This officially started because my grandmother-in-law really wanted to see my newborn son. My grandmother-in-law over the years has started to show signs of what I believe is dementia and doesn't make the best judgments. I've also realized she can be emotionally manipulative and has been way before she started to show signs of not completely being there. I won't go into too much detail about this, just trust me when I say she's overall not a great person, but still, she's my husband's grandmother, and I would have never done anything to upset her. Now, after about 2 months, my grandmother-in-law has really been pushing to see my son. Both my husband and I were hesitant about this because she has been very sick recently. On top of that, she has a history of being sick but not telling anyone until after the fact, like at a family gathering. When I was heavily pregnant, we were invited to Thanksgiving at their house, and I declined to go because I was getting induced the next week. If I got sick, they would have pushed it back further. My grandmother-in-law promised she was fine, but I didn't feel comfortable with it and stayed home. Not even 2 days later, she told my mother-in-law she was very sick and wasn't feeling great, even at Thanksgiving. This is all relevant to why I didn't want her to see my son yet, as we are still deep in RSV season, and he had just gotten his first round of vaccines. However, there was much pushing and guilt-tripping from both her, my mother-in-law, and sister-in-law, so we decided she could meet our son at our house. Just a little detail, we live with my grandmother, and she helps me so much with my son. Honestly, the most amazing woman ever. We decided if my grandmother-in-law was going to come over, we were going to set boundaries to make sure our son was safe and we had our own peace of mind. The boundaries were that we weren't comfortable with my grandmother-in-law holding our son, but would love for her to finally be able to see him. I specify this because some people see it as *wrong* that we would exclude her from holding our son, but we specified this to everyone before she came over, and my grandmother-in-law agreed with it. Remember, she has continuously been sick and won't tell anyone if she is, and when it comes time to see our son, there was no way in hell she was going to cancel if she felt ill. On top of this, we said she needed to wear a mask and take a COVID test beforehand. The day that she came over, we received a text from MIL that she also was coming with my GML and asked what time they should arrive. MIL has been to our house a few times, so it wasn't a huge deal, but I realize now it wasn't the best idea. They walked in, and GMIL showed my grandmother the COVID test, not us, but whatever, and proceeded to stuff the mask she was holding back into her purse. At this point, I'm kind of over it, but I just smile and talk to her for a little bit before going back to the kitchen while my husband took the dog outside to use the bathroom. When I was out of hearing range, or so she thought, She asked my grandmother to hold Son. My grandmother turned to me in the kitchen and repeated the question, and I simply stated, "Would you mind asking husband when he gets back?" I figured since it's husband's Gmail, it would be a lot gentler if he let her down. Instead, Gmail started crying, no actual tears, and exclaimed, "Why does no one like me?" Remember what I said about emotionally manipulative? Yeah, I was uncomfortable, my grandmother was uncomfortable, and our poor other dog in the kitchen with me was uncomfortable. I excused myself to go start laundry after checking with my grandmother that she was okay holding Son for another minute before my husband came back in. Immediately when I left the room, again my mistake, my Mill walked over, took Son from my grandmother, and put him on my Gmill's lap. Before this, Son was smiling and laughing while my grandmother held him but faced him toward Gmail. My son lost it and started screaming. My husband walks in at this point, sees Son on Gmill's lap and immediately grabs him from Gmill and goes into the kitchen. My Mill was shocked and made a snide comment of, "Oh, so no one gets to him, Son, today." Then they both left soon after, and my grandmother apologized profusely for the situation when I found out. It definitely wasn't her fault at all. Now comes the real dramatic part. 3 weeks after what I will now call the incident, my MIL has been calling husband, and we explained to her that we were upset with what happened. She didn't grasp what she did wrong, and the conversation ultimately went nowhere. Another week and more calls. Here's where the text messages come into the story. Husband to Mill. "Hey, I want you to know I'm not ignoring you, but I'm still not over what happened. We want you to be a part of our and Son's life, but because of the boundaries you broke, we don't feel comfortable having you over for a while. Next week, Sil to husband. Want to do dinner at Mom's on Saturday if you aren't busy. I want to see Son. Husband. No, Mom still hasn't even tried to talk to us after her and Gmail came here. Next day, Sil to husband. Hey, what's the deal with Mom and Gmail? Something's been off since that day they came over there. Y'all have been distant. I just want to know what's going on. Husband. I already talked to Mom, but me and OP decided that we aren't comfortable with Mom coming over for a while because she broke boundaries. It's important to us because we did discuss beforehand what we expected, and Son's health is more important than anything. Sael. Oh, okay, but what boundaries were broken? I'm confused. She wasn't sick or anything? She had been around Son before that day they went over there. What happened specifically that day that made y'all feel uncomfortable, other than GMIL not wearing a mask? Husband. We already told Mom about it. Don't worry. Next day. Side note, my postpartum depression has gotten extremely bad, and in-laws were starting to be a little too much on Facebook, so I took them off. Sael to husband. Why did OP unfriend me and Mom on Facebook? Stepdad just called and said Mom is bawling her eyes out over this whole situation. I don't know what the deal is, but I hope you realize what you all are doing to the family. I'm not trying to be in the middle of anything, but Mom and Nana feel like they can't talk to you or OP. What's the deal? This crap can't go on forever. You all need to work it out. Husband. Like I said before, we already talked to Mom about it. You said you weren't going to choose sides, and it seems you already have. Please stay out of it. OP unadded everyone because she has way too much going on and doesn't want to be in the drama. We never said Mom wouldn't see Son again, but we still need time. Son is our son, and Mom and Nana broke a boundary that we set even before Son was born. Even if someone in OP's family did the same thing, it would be the same outcome. We were hesitant about Nana coming over at all because of exactly what just happened. Next day, and after a phone call with SIL where Sael said OP was causing all the drama. Husband to Sael. After that conversation, me and OP have talked and decided we feel you need to completely stay out of everything going on. We understand you're trying to defend Mom and be a messenger, but you have more than likely unknowingly taken her side in this when there is no side. We are Son's parents, and we get to decide who does and doesn't see him. We aren't going to keep going in circles on what boundaries are because we have already stated multiple times what they were. What matters now is that Mom, and now you can't respect that we need time to just move on from the situation. No one is trying to start drama, but by dragging more people into this, like Dad, you are, in fact, causing drama, and we don't appreciate it. In case you forgot, we were very hesitant about Nana seeing Son for the very reasons that happened. Not only did Nana ask to hold Son when both OP and I left the room, but Mom then took it into her own hands to hand Son to Nana. We already stated we were concerned for Son getting sick and weren't comfortable with her holding him, but that wasn't good enough for them. Son is not a toy. We aren't mad at them but the situation, but you have nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter, you are the messenger. You can still come see Son whenever you want, but we need time away from Mom and to process the situation. Sil. Okay. In case you're wondering, yes, Sil did kind of come out of left field. I received comments that we shouldn't have just let this continue and just ignored Sil, but we genuinely wanted her to just understand why we were upset, and we would really like her to not get involved. I was starting to feel like maybe I was just being a jerk and posted the text messages, names hidden of course, to a Facebook group called Monster In-Laws. Not even a few hours later, and I received a text from Sil with screenshots of the post and question marks. I have no idea how she found the post as she is blocked on my Facebook, but she did. I felt very uncomfortable with her just happening upon my post, or if someone, in a group of thousands of people, recognized the story and sent it to Sil. Really not a huge fan of that. When I ignored her text, she sent the screenshots to my husband. Here's what followed. Husband to Sil. Can you mind your own damn business? You have done nothing but stir the pot. OP has had nothing but problems since son was born, and honestly the last thing she needs is this. I don't know what kind of resentment you harbor toward her, or why you even do, but you've hated her since we got married. Guess what? You're gonna have to deal with it. OP and son are my family now, and they come before anything. I won't let you or anybody act this way toward us. Decide if this is worth having a semblance of a relationship with us. I don't give a crap at this point because honestly, I have zero interest in ever talking to you again. Sil to husband. I haven't done anything. I've just been the messenger in this whole situation. If that's what you want, then fine. Shows OP true character. I forgave OP for what she did to you. She's always assumed I've had it out for her, but I haven't. You don't understand how much you've affected and hurt our family. OP caused all of this. I wasn't the one asking to see son. I was sticking up for mom and Nana. They felt like they couldn't say anything to you because they didn't want to upset you. I chose to be the messenger in this whole situation because I actually care and love my family. You've done irreversible emotional damage to mom and Nana and now me. I hope you'll realize that, and I wasn't the one starting drama. If you don't ever want to talk to me again, then fine. So be it. Don't come back around later saying I told you so. I've done nothing but try to be nice and accepting toward OP and all I get is this. But if that's the life y'all chose to live, then go ahead. OP has never liked me or mom or any of our family for that matter, and it said it comes to picking sides. Don't call me a pot stirrer because I've done nothing wrong. I've only told the truth. Sometimes the truth hurts. Getting mad and unfriending me and blocking me also doesn't solve anything. Tell me where I've gone wrong in this situation. Please. I was only looking out for mom and Nana because it hurts me to see them so upset. This is not guilt-tripping you, this is just the honest truth. I haven't done anything wrong, yet I'm causing drama, because I'm the only one not afraid to shoot you straight. Husband to Sil. I'm taking my wife's side. Sil to husband. Like I said, it's sad you feel like you have to pick a side. We're adults and y'all are married. When you get married you don't pick sides. Sil. Am I wrong? Sil. Please tell me what I did wrong. Honestly, this could have been over with the first text to my mother-in-law. My husband and I just needed a week or two to feel comfortable having them over again, and instead my sister-in-law made it worse. Thank you so much for reading. Feel free to ask questions or criticize me if you disagree. Wow, that was intense. Family drama is never fun, especially when a new baby is involved. It's unfortunate that the in-laws couldn't respect the boundaries that were set, and it's even more unfortunate that it has caused such a rift in the family. Hopefully, they can work it out and move forward in a positive way. An entitled dad claimed that I was doing drugs on the bus. I never expected my daily bus ride to turn into a nightmare. As I struggled to take my anti-sickness medication, an entitled dad snatched it from my hand and accused me of doing drugs. The situation quickly escalated, leading to a police investigation. Here's how it all went down. So, a little bit of background on me. I have a bunch of health issues, and that means I have a lot of medications. The important one here is my anti-sickness meds, ondansetron, Zofran. Now, due to issues here in the UK, getting hold of some of my medications has been a nightmare. My anti-sickness has been the hardest to get, so what little I do have, I am heavily rationing until I can finally get it again. The other important thing to note is that for a while now it has been coming in a pill bottle and not a blister. Here in the UK, that's very unusual. Another thing that's important to mention is that it's pretty clear I'm disabled. I have a walking stick and I wear a sunflower lanyard. Also, my face is dropped on the left due to a stroke I had. Basically, if you look at me, you know full well I'm disabled. The last thing is 3rd of June is my birthday. The day kinda sucked, and birthdays are fairly important in my family, especially mine as I've spent so many in the hospital. So, I was on the bus today, and I'm already in a pretty foul mood. I had gone to the pharmacy in hopes of getting my meds. No luck. I'm feeling very sick, I'm in a lot of pain, I'm tired, and to top it all off, it's my birthday, and I can't eat my birthday cake without feeling even worse. So, needless to say, I was close to tears. I was sitting on the bus in the disabled seats, head against the window, music in my ears, trying not to cry. One of my earphones ran out of charge, so I went into my bag to grab the case and switch to wired earphones. Just as I was doing this dad got on the bus with a small child. I paid them no mind as I dug through my bag until I heard him clear his throat. "My child needs to sit there," he said, looking at me. Now the bus was not busy at this point, and the seat next to me, as well as the other disabled seats, were empty. I looked at him in confusion and I said, "I'm sorry, sir, but as you can see, I'm already sitting here, and it's very clear I need them. He is welcome to sit next to me, or you can pick any of the other seats." Now I could have absolutely been nicer about it, but as I said, I was in no mood. He just huffed at me and sat on the other seats. All seemed well until the child started complaining he wanted to sit on the left side where I was. The dad ignored the kid whilst the kid kept moaning. Now at this point my sickness had gotten a lot worse, so I reluctantly grabbed my anti-sickness meds from my bag to take one. It has one of those child safety caps on the ones where you push down and turn at the same time. I really don't like these caps, but whatever, I had to get on with it. I was struggling to get it pushed down, but before I could complete this, my meds were grabbed out my hand. The man went marching to the driver. He started shouting I was taking drugs on the bus and I should be arrested. The driver pulled over and got out of his cab. At this point, everything got far too much and I burst into tears. The driver, an older man who knows me, said, "OP isn't taking drugs, they are taking their medications." At this point, a lady had sat down next to me and wrapped her arm around me. I was just crying and crying and crying. Everything had gotten too much. Friends didn't wish me a happy birthday. I wasn't feeling well. I just wanted my anti-sickness meds. I wanted a day where I'm not unwell, especially on my birthday. As if to pile on top of it, the kind lady who was hugging me smelt of the soap my grandma used, so on top of it I started missing her and wishing it was her hugging me on my birthday. The entitled dad realized how wrong he was, and how much he messed up but still tried to worm his way out. I don't really know what he said, I just know that he was trying to make an excuse. The bus driver grabbed my meds off him, told him to get off, and grabbed my water out of my bag and helped get the cap off. I took my meds, but was still very upset, as you can imagine. Fortunately, the bus driver knows my auntie, so he called her and got her to come and pick me up to take me home. The OP edited the original post and gave a new update. Here's what they said. "So, I managed to get about half of my due medications, so it means I've been able to enjoy some of my birthday cake. It's a lovely plain sponge with fresh cream and royal icing. It's lovely, nothing fancy. But my mom made it, so it's incredibly special. Complaints have been filed about the entitled dad. This includes CCTV footage of him grabbing my meds. As I am classed as a vulnerable adult, it's now a police matter. Not really what I wanted, as I feel it is a bit harsh, but I'll wait and see the outcome. I was at work yesterday, and the kind lady who comforted me on the bus ended up coming into the bookshop where I work. It turns out I actually know her from the hospital. We've been on the same ward a few times, and she also knows my mom, which is really nice. I was only working a half day, so we went for lunch together. We had a really lovely time, and I'm going to stay in contact with her. She's taken to calling me Bluey because I love the show, and my hair is blue. It's really lovely. I've missed my grandmother so much. While she will never replace my grandmother, I feel like I've gained a bit of her back. My parents are away right now, and she brought me around shepherd's pie for dinner. It's truly disheartening to see the rise in disability hate crimes and the lack of support for chronically ill and disabled people, especially during these difficult times. It's clear that ableist attitudes have been perpetuated by the media and government, and it's up to all of us to push for change and fight against discrimination. I hope that the company takes swift action to ban the entitled dad from their buses and that justice is served.